It is Dallas Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. Kevin, Corey, and boy, it's great to be on. It's really, I didn't know how we'd be feeling when we got into this second game. I had hoped we'd be feeling good and positive about our team, and I certainly feel that way. So it's real good to be talking to you.
Well, you know us media folks, we like to project. I started the show today by saying you guys will win at least 4 of your first 5. So I've skipped way ahead, and I'm going to need you to slow me down. What kind of challenges do the Saints provide? Because I think there are people out there who don't particularly believe in their quarterback, and the fact that they beat up on the Panthers don't see them as a real threat coming to town.
Well, they run the ball exceptionally well for a pro team. They're really grounded. That's I guess, a little fun, but they're really grounded in the run game. And that's really something that's got Zimmer and got our defense really preparing for. But they've got that a guy that is what I call a Swiss knife. He does everything for them and is a really good football player. But listen, the run game, when you really get it executed and you really put the emphasis on it, and I can't tell you the number of coaches that I've had over the years have said, we have got to not just say we're going to do the run game, we've got to get committed to the run game. And I'm thinking when they're opening their mouth, now tell me what the difference is. You're saying you're committed, but you really got to be committed. Well, there is a big difference, and it's a lot easier said than done to go out there. They're committed to the run game. We'll have a real test, but I really like the makeup of what our defense is right now. We've got some big boys in the middle, and got some good linebackers that'll really go the ball, and frankly, our secondary will come to the ball hard too. And so I like the way we match up for run game.
Well, and Jerry, I'm glad you were talking about the running game there, because the league does over years has interesting patterns, and right now you're seeing, last night you saw it, explosive running games that can really alter a defense's game plans. Do you feel like the production from the way offensive coordinators are using running backs right now is kind of helping and changing and evolving defenses at the moment?
Yeah, let's take Zeke. Zeke had an outstanding grade, one of the highest grade players on our team last week. And principally it was his protections. And so I'm moving away from the specific run game, but obviously we're counting on Zeke to really provide some physicalness in our run game. But, boy, look what he does for the passing game. Well, if you just simply went out there and all you did was have the run game, then you could go a little light on needing that protection in there. But that's not the case here for us. They put an emphasis on the run game. And so they'll take a little off their fastball probably with their throwing and emphasize that run game. Well, that's almost that's just I'm going to run. I'm going to come get you. I'll never forget. I went to my very first competition committee meeting many years ago, and there was Don Shula, the head of the competition committee, and there was Flores, the great coach up had been at the Raiders and just a great player himself. And you had Marty Schottenheimer sitting there. And they said, you know that most of us, the league, read all of your plays. You'd give them away on the sidelines. We knew when you were going to throw it. We knew almost which direction you were going to go with it. And we knew generally, because you had played other games, how you were going to run the ball. We haven't stopped you yet. We can't stop that combination of Aikman and Emmett. And then the minute we line up to stop Emmett, we can't hold Aikman back with his accuracy. So much for that. My point is that we know these guys are coming at you. Can you do that? Can you tell it like that, telegraph it like that before a ball game? Yes, you can. And if you're effective in the run game, you can make it go. That'll be our challenge.
In addition to the rookies on the offensive line, I know there was a lot of anticipation to see how Terrence Steele would play. It feels like he played very well. And y'all also have restructured his contract, which creates a good amount of salary cap room. I know you can carry it over, and that's probably why. But does having that extra salary cap room also mean, hey, if an opportunity came along at the trade deadline, we would have the capital to pounce?
No. The space that is made available by reworking the contracts, that's a given. And it basically is in the agreements that the player will agree to basically rework, which is basically take this year's salary, make it a bonus, and then you can spread it out over the remaining years on his contract, as opposed to counting it all in this year. Now, my point is, that's figured in on our cap room and our availability. There are no bonuses here.
Yeah.
We know 2 or 3 years from now, we're planning on several players that have contracts that go into those years. We're planning on them taking a bonus and extending their contract out. So there's no bonuses here. It doesn't create any extra room than anything we had anticipated. What is the fact is that clubs do that. By the way, I'm proud to tell you today, factually, we spent the most cash of any club in the National Football League this year on players. We're the number one cash spender on players. And so the reason I'm saying it in that manner is because there was a critique going on a few weeks back that we weren't spending money on players, which is amusing and ridiculous. But I really don't know that we have a good grasp of what the cap does. But there's no free lunch, none at all. And Santa Claus does not put the tricycle on the Christmas tree here. He does not. And so you've got to know that when you do these contracts that you're going to spread them out, you're going to have room to adjust them each year so that you can create more room. And that's planned just as if it were stacked up over there in the bank someplace waiting on you to spend it.
Now, you said it was amusing and ridiculous, obviously, that people had brought up maybe the Cowboys weren't using as much cash, but you also just told us that now y'all have spent the most money, so it does kind of feel like you cared that people were putting that out into the world. Did that bother you when you saw people putting those articles out?
No, it did not, although you say, well, it must have been. You're sitting here talking about it, and you brought it up yourself. What that does is allow me to specifically point out that every club does this, and that's a part of the cap. We could have a all-cash cap, but we decided years ago to create the ability to take some salary, make it a bonus, and spread that salary out over a lot of years. That's the ultimate maneuver that everyone uses. And so that's what catches up with you. And but it really does not catch up with you. It's just money that you spent that you got to account for this year that you spent in years past to have a better team. And we've been, other than Kansas City, we've been the winningest team, I think, over the last 4 years in the NFL. And we've done that spending money on the supporting cast that we've got around our key players. And obviously we want to keep doing that. But everybody has to make that adjustment. What you have to do, you really do, if you're going to have 3 or 4 outstanding, top, high-paid players, you've got to have some good young players that are in the first years of their agreement. And those guys have got to come in, and they can't be sitting on the sideline. They've got to be playing.
Jerry, all the best teams in sports, heck, I think all the best businesses seem to do the same thing. They bury their opponent when they're down. And Zach Martin said the team needs to jump on the kill shot when it's there. And Dak even said there was a lot of meat left on the bone. In your time, what traits or mentality do the teams that do that share?
Well, first of all, I'd like to be able to say that you can build that in the ethos of the club. In other words, go out there and let's get them down for about 3 touchdowns in the first 8 minutes. Mm-hmm. We seem to play a lot better when we have a lead.
Yeah.
By the way, that's nothing new. I would say, I dare say, all teams play better, especially as you get into situations where the time on the clock's running on down, and you're able to control the ball by running plays. I was reading what Bill Belichick said about us and talk about how we were able to run the ball and were able to keep it and use up clock. That's all key. What we've got to improve on is how do we, when those games are not going in our favor early, how do we get out there and get hit in the nose and then turn around and get down a couple of touchdowns, which should not be substantive in the NFL. That's two scores. You ought to, if you have the type of team you want to have, you ought to be able to get that back. My point is that playing from behind or playing without the advantage of a big lead, that's a different ball game, and you've got to play it differently.
Yeah, and I'm glad you kind of mentioned that too, Jerry. In your time, you've also had a lot of different voices that you value their opinion. And you just mentioned Belichick's what he was saying about you guys. You got to have a lot of respect for his opinion?
Of course we do. It'd be very much. And but let me be clear. The beautiful thing about our game is that there's about 100 ways to do everything about the game. There's nothing that's righter than other ways. Now, if you match it up with your personnel, if you match that up, coaches will always say, well, main thing I do in coaching is I maximize my personnel. Wait a minute, that means that if you're principally a pocket passing coordinator, that if your quarterback runs around and has got good escape, good legs, that you don't change your offense out. Well, I don't go that far. Well, some go that far, and therein lies the matchups. And so my point about all of this is that the right thing to do is to take your players that you've got on the field and match up what you're trying to get them to do, the way you're trying to move the ball, the way you're trying to stop them. There's a lot of different ways to make that happen. They're very difficult, though. There's always great players that have something else to say about it when you put your game plan out there.
Talk with Jerry Jones right here on 105.3 The Fan. Now, the other day, John Bon Jovi was on a podcast with Julian Edelman, and he said that Bill Parcells connected you two years and years ago when he was investing in the Arena Football League, and he said that you put your salesmanship hat on and try to convince him to buy a little part in the Cowboys. Is he just having some fun, or did you want to bring Bon Jovi on as like a minority owner?
John's a wonderful friend, really a wonderful friend, and I admire him in many, many ways. I can't tell you, he's obviously a great entertainer, but he's taken that skill, and he's also done wonderful things with it as far as building his business, building what he's about. And one of the things we have in common is his interest and how much he loves the idea of the NFL. John was very involved in trying to buy the Buffalo Bills. And, of course, at that time, I certainly was in his corner as far as putting together the people, putting together the financing in any way, not as a partnership, but in any way there. I've always thought John was so hands-on that I knew that if he got involved, that he was really going to be involved. And but thank goodness he doesn't have to have ownership. I love to have him at any ball games, to have him be interested in what we're doing. But he's a great friend, and he was a big part. My daughter Charlotte got married this spring, and he was such an important part of her wedding. And Charlotte and her family went to John's son's wedding, and so they're good friends.
Oh, very neat. Now, I know you guys all work together as owners. Do you consider Robert Kraft to be a friend?
Oh, I do. Yes, I do, very much. And I think that over the years, and it's probably been more years than I can even count, but over the years it's been fun working with him. And I remember when he first came into the league, and he basically was just like I was when I first came into the league, and I'm so impressed with the job that he's done at New England on and off the field. So, yeah, I'm a real friend of his.
And I thought so, which was, I was a little surprised. I don't know if you read the article from Don Van Natta Jr., who loves to write about you and the Cowboys, that Robert Kraft had told friends that he was, quote, angered and confused by you getting into the Hall of Fame when the team hadn't been to an NFC title game in a couple of decades. Have you read that article, and do you have any thoughts on that statement?
Yeah, I have read the article, but many years ago, I quit reading with credibility or trying to take a statement out of context and basically have it apply to what my relationship is with those individuals. You can't do that. And basically it's one of the issues. We appreciate the interest that we have from our fans through our media. And I will tell you right now, no one has benefited any more from the media than the Cowboys, and that I have. And so I'm really not going to criticize the media at all, but I'm not going to let someone else, after years and years of a relationship with somebody, I'm not going to let someone else in any way have their couching or their interpretation of how that person feels about me or about the team or about anything else. I'm going to just rely on the years and years of times that we've been together, and yes, he's a friend.
I gotcha. That makes sense to me. I appreciate the time. We appreciate the time very much. And let's take care of the Saints and keep this team rolling.
Boy, let's get them. This is exciting, but they'll be coming in here rolling. And I know we've got so many mixed feelings over in the northern Louisiana area, the East Texas area, and this is a real fun rival for us.
Thank you very much, good sir.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.